I thought I knew him. I thought I could trust every word he said. But the truth? The truth destroyed everything. He said he was working late, but when I showed up at his office that night, what I saw shattered me in ways I will never forget. I used to think I had it all, the kind of love people envy, the kind that makes you believe fairy tales might actually be real. My husband was everything I thought I wanted. Charming, ambitious, attentive, the kind of man who remembered the little details, like how I took my coffee or which song always made me tear up on long drives. Every morning, he kissed me on the forehead before leaving for work. "I'm doing this for us," he'd whisper, briefcase in hand, suit pressed to perfection. He always said his late nights at the office were about building our future, about giving us the life we deserved. And I believed him. How could I not? On weekends, he'd surprise me with flowers or plan a dinner at that Italian restaurant I loved. He held my hand in public, told his friends how lucky he was to have me, and every night he'd text, "Love you, can't wait to see you." I would lie in bed smiling, my phone clutched to my chest like I was still a teenager. Back then, I thought, this is it. This is what forever feels like. But forever started changing. The flowers stopped coming. The dinners grew fewer. And those forehead kisses in the morning, they felt rushed, mechanical, like a routine he no longer thought about. At first, I ignored it. I told myself, he's just busy. He's working so hard. He's exhausted. That's what love is, right? Being patient, being understanding. But late nights at the office became more frequent. He'd text, "Running late, don't wait up." My dinner would grow cold on the table. I'd sit there, alone, staring at the flickering candles I lit just for us, the silence of the house pressing against my chest. I'd clear the plates, put the food in the fridge, and tell myself, tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow was always the same. And the little things, the things that once made me feel cherished, vanished. No more spontaneous flowers, no more long drives just to sing badly to old songs. Instead, I got excuses, meetings, deadlines, clients. I tried to be understanding. I told myself this was just a phase, that work was demanding more of him, that his love for me was still there, just hidden under layers of stress. But deep down, I felt it. A whisper I couldn't ignore. It started as a faint unease, like a shadow in the corner of a room, a gut feeling I kept pushing away. Don't be paranoid, don't overthink, he loves you. But the more I silenced it, the louder it became. Because when someone you love starts slipping away, you can feel it, even if they don't say a word. I wanted to believe our marriage was still perfect. I wanted to believe the man who kissed me goodnight and said, "I love you," was the same man who once made me feel like the only woman in the world. But perfection has cracks, and once you notice them, you can't unsee them. That was the beginning of my doubt, the beginning of the end. And I had no idea just how deep those cracks would run. The first red flag came quietly. It was late, past midnight. I was half asleep when his phone buzzed on the nightstand. Without thinking, I reached for it, just to silence it, like I had done 100 times before. But before my fingers could touch the screen, he snatched it away. Too fast, too defensive. "It's just work," he muttered, turning back to me. I laid there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, my heart pounding in the silence. Work? At midnight? Why did he look so guilty? I told myself I was overthinking, but the seed of doubt was planted. The next sign came a week later. I was cleaning his car when I found a crumpled receipt tucked under the seat. Dinner for 2, an expensive restaurant I'd never been to. When I asked, he barely blinked. "Client dinner, don't worry about it." His voice was smooth, too smooth, like he'd rehearsed the line. I smiled, nodded, pretended to believe him, but inside, something twisted in my stomach. 1 red flag could be nothing. 2, that was harder to ignore. Soon, the signs piled up. He started working overtime more often, his calendar conveniently vague. Meetings that stretched into midnight, calls he refused to take in front of me. When I asked questions, he brushed them off with a kiss and a smile. "Don't be silly. You're imagining things. I'm doing this for us, remember?" And every time I wanted to believe him, I wanted so badly for it to be true. But my heart and my mind were at war. At night, lying in our bed alone, my thought screamed, "He's hiding something." But the moment he walked through the door, charming smile and tired eyes, I silenced that voice. He loves me. He wouldn't do that. But still, the whispers of doubt never stopped. My friends noticed. Over coffee, one leaned in and asked carefully, "He's working late a lot, isn't he?" I laughed it off too quickly. "Yeah, but you know him. He's ambitious. It's nothing." Even my mother raised an eyebrow during Sunday dinner. "Are you two okay?" she asked gently. "Of course we are," I replied, forcing a smile that didn't reach my eyes. I defended him, fiercely, because admitting the truth, even to myself, felt like betrayal. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't ignore what was right in front of me. And then came the perfume. One night, he stumbled through the door past 11. His tie was loosened, his shirt wrinkled, his eyes heavy. He hugged me absent-mindedly, and that's when I smelled it. A scent that didn't belong to me. Sweet, floral, feminine. It clung to his jacket, strong enough to suffocate me. I froze, my face pressed against his chest, trying not to let my hands shake. Whose perfume is this? Why is it on you? But I didn't ask. My lips wouldn't move. My heart wouldn't let me. Because if I asked, I'd have to hear the answer. I spent the whole night staring at the ceiling, the scent of her perfume haunting me even in my dreams. By morning, I knew. I couldn't keep pretending. The doubt had turned into something darker, something undeniable. And as much as it terrified me, I had to know the truth. So I made a decision. A quiet, trembling decision that would change everything. Tonight, I'll follow him. The night I chose to follow him, the city felt different. I sat in my car, hands trembling on the steering wheel, watching our front door like a predator waiting for its prey. My heart hammered so hard I thought it might break through my chest. When he finally walked out of the driveway, tie neat, hair perfectly combed, that same calm expression he always wore, I told myself this was it. This was the moment my doubts would finally be silenced or confirmed. He didn't see me as he pulled out of the driveway. I waited a few seconds, then eased into the street, headlights off until I was far enough behind him. The streets blurred past, neon signs glowing in the night as I trailed his car through the city. Every red light felt like a countdown, every turn a question. Am I doing the right thing? What if I'm wrong? What if I'm right? I gripped the wheel tighter, whispering to myself, breathe, just breathe. He drove like a man on a mission. No stops, no hesitation, straight downtown to the office district. Relief washed over me for a moment. Maybe he really was working late. Maybe I was the one losing my mind. But then, he didn't park in his usual spot. Instead, he turned down a narrow alley and pulled up to a side entrance of his building. No lights, no guard, just a dimly lit door that looked like it hadn't been used in years. My chest tightened. My instincts screamed. This wasn't normal.
I parked half a block away, my hands shaking as I killed the engine. For a moment, I sat frozen, staring at that door. Am I really about to do this? What if I walked in and found nothing? What if I was all in my head? Would he ever forgive me for doubting him? But what if I walked away and the truth, the ugly, undeniable truth, was right behind that door? I couldn't live with that anymore. So I stepped out of my car, the night air cool against my skin, carrying the faint hum of traffic in the distance. My heels clicked softly on the pavement, each step echoing louder than the last. Every sound felt magnified. The thud of my heartbeat, the rustle of my jacket, the whisper of the wind pushing me forward. When I reached the door, I hesitated, my hand hovering over the handle. My palms were slick with sweat, my knees weak. Am I ready for this? Am I ready to see the truth, whatever it may be? I closed my eyes for a moment, whispering to myself, "You deserve to know. You deserve the truth." And with that, I pushed the door open. The building was quiet. Too quiet. No hum of computers, no buzz of fluorescent lights, just shadows stretching across the walls, broken by the faint sound of laughter in the distance. Not office laughter, not the professional, tired chuckles of coworkers buried in late-night deadlines. This was different, intimate, secret, wrong. I crept down the hallway, each step heavier than the last. The smell hit me first. Perfume. Faint, but familiar. The same one I'd smelled on his jacket. My stomach turned. I followed the sound, my pulse thundering louder with every step, until I reached a door slightly ajar. Light spilled through the crack. Voices. Murmurs. And then I heard his. His voice, his laugh, low, intimate, the way he used to laugh with me. My throat tightened, my vision blurred. I pressed my hand against the door, steadying myself as the world around me tilted. My body screamed to run, but my heart wouldn't let me. I had come this far. I had to know. I pushed the door open, and in that single moment, everything I thought I knew about my marriage, about my life, shattered. The door creaked open slowly, the sound slicing through the heavy silence of the hallway. Inside, the glow of a single lamp lit the room in a warm haze, but what I saw was nothing but warm. There he was, my husband, his jacket tossed carelessly on the back of a chair, his tie loosened, his arm draped around her shoulders like it belonged there. And her?
She wasn't some nameless stranger. My stomach dropped the second my eyes locked on her face. It was Maya, his assistant, the woman I'd seen dozens of times at company dinners, the one who smiled too brightly whenever she greeted me, who laughed a little too sweetly at his jokes. My heart didn't just break. It shattered, the pieces scattering across that cold floor. They didn't notice me at first. He was leaning in, whispering something into her ear. She giggled softly, her hand brushing across his chest in a way that made bile rise in my throat. And then, he kissed her. Not the rushed, guilty peck of someone caught in weakness. No. This was slow, deliberate, the kind of kiss that spoke of routine, of comfort, of betrayal woven into every breath. My body froze in the doorway. My mind screamed, "Say something, do something." But all I could do was stand there, watching the man I thought I knew become a stranger right before my eyes. Finally, Maya's gaze flickered up and landed on me. Her laughter died instantly. She stiffened. He followed her eyes, turning, and when he saw me,
For the first time in years, I saw fear flash across his face.
"What are you doing here?"
He stammered, rising to his feet. My voice cracked when I tried to speak. This is what working late looks like?" The silence that followed was deafening. Maya shifted uncomfortably, guilt written all over her face, but he tried to recover, tried to slip into the same smooth tone that used to make me believe anything he said. "This isn't what it looks like," he muttered, running a hand through his hair. I laughed bitterly, the sound trembling out of me like a scream disguised as humor. "It isn't what it looks like? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like my husband kissing another woman in his office after hours." His face hardened, his fear folding into anger. "You shouldn't have followed me. You're overreacting." Overreacting. The word hit me like a slap. I took a step into the room, my eyes locked on him. "I stayed up waiting for you. I believed you every time you said you were buried in deadlines. Every time you came home late and smelled of perfume I didn't wear. I gave you every chance to prove me wrong, and this is what I find?" My hands shook, but my voice grew steadier with every word. Maya looked down at the floor, whispering, "I'm sorry." "Sorry?" I snapped, my pain boiling over into rage. "You're sorry? You helped destroy a marriage. You smiled in my face while sneaking behind my back." Tears blurred my vision, but I refused to let them fall. Not yet. Not in front of him. He stepped closer, his voice low, almost pleading. "Listen, it happened. I didn't mean for it to go this far. We can fix this." Fix. That word tasted like poison. I shook my head slowly. "No. You broke something that can't be fixed." For a moment, no one spoke. The three of us just stood there, the weight of betrayal thick in the air. Inside, I felt something shift. The heartbreak was still there, raw and suffocating, but beneath it, something stronger began to rise. Anger. Resolve. The kind of strength you don't know you have until you're forced to find it. I turned away from him, from both of them, my voice steady now. "You've made your choice, and now I'm making mine." With that, I walked out of the office, my heels echoing like gunshots down the empty hall. Behind me, I could hear him calling my name, but I didn't turn back. Not once. Because in that moment, I knew the life I thought I had was gone. And the woman I had been, the one who stayed quiet, who doubted herself, who swallowed her suspicions, she was gone too. What replaced her was someone new. Someone who would not be broken. But first, I had to face the storm that was coming. I didn't remember the drive home. One moment, I was storming out of that building, the sound of his voice chasing after me, echoing down the hallway like a ghost I couldn't shake. The next, I was inside our house, the same house we'd built together, the same walls that had heard our laughter, our arguments, our whispered plans for the future. But this night, the walls felt heavy, like they were closing in on me. I didn't cry. Not yet. I thought I would collapse the second I stepped inside, that I'd crumble into sobs on the living room floor. But instead, I stood there in the dark, frozen, my hands trembling at my sides. It was like my body refused to process it. My husband, the man I trusted with every piece of me, had just shattered me in the most humiliating way possible. And still, I couldn't scream. I couldn't give him that power. The silence was suffocating. Every tick of the clock on the wall stabbed at me. Every shadow felt like a reminder of his lies. I replayed it in my head over and over again. The kiss, the smirk on her face, the panic in his eyes when he saw me. And with each replay, the rage inside me grew louder. Rage not just at him, but at myself. How many times had I ignored the signs? How many excuses I had swallowed just to keep the illusion alive. The late nights, the deadlines, the way he flinched when my phone calls came through while he was working. I saw it all, and yet I told myself to trust him. I told myself I was imagining things. I wasn't imagining. I was blind. And the worst part, he counted on it. He counted on my love, my loyalty, my willingness to forgive. He built his betrayal on the foundation of my trust. My jaw tightened as I sat down on the edge of the bed we used to share. My fists clenched so tight my nails dug into my palms. The anger burned through me, hot and cold at the same time.
I didn't even hear the door open at first. Babe? His voice cut through the silence, hesitant, careful, like a man tiptoeing across broken glass. I didn't answer. He stepped into the bedroom, his footsteps soft, his breathing uneven. Please, just listen. It wasn't what you think. I didn't mean for you to... Stop! My voice was sharp, steady. It surprised even me. He froze, the excuses still dangling on his lips. I stood up slowly, every muscle in my body stiff, trembling with restraint. Do you even realize what you've done? Do you understand what you've taken from me? His eyes darted, desperate, searching for the right words. It didn't mean anything, I swear. It was just stress, just stress? I let out a bitter laugh that felt like a sob strangled in my throat. You broke our vows for stress relief? You kissed another woman, touched her, betrayed me, and you're standing here saying it didn't mean anything? His face crumpled, his hands reaching out as if he could physically pull me back into his lies. Please, don't ruin this. Don't throw us away over one mistake. One mistake. The words pierced me deeper than the betrayal itself. Because this wasn't a mistake. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. A mistake is saying something you don't mean in anger. This was a choice. Over and over again, he chose her. He chose deceit. He chose to live two lives while expecting me to keep believing the fairy tale he fed me. I stared at him, my voice dropping to a whisper, low but more dangerous than any scream. You didn't just ruin this tonight. You ruined this the moment you decided to lie to me. You ruined this every night you came home late and smiled at me like nothing was wrong. You ruined this the second you thought I wouldn't notice. His mouth opened, but I didn't give him the chance to speak. I walked past him, brushing against his shoulder without looking back. Because if I did, if I let myself meet his eyes, I was afraid the tears would finally break free. And I wasn't ready to fall apart. Not in front of him. The rage was still burning, simmering beneath my skin, and I needed it. That rage was the only thing keeping me upright. Because tomorrow, I knew, would be the real battle. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in the dark, staring at the ceiling, listening to the sound of his footsteps pacing in the hallway like a caged animal. Every creak of the floorboards reminded me of the weight I was carrying, the truth he had tried so hard to hide. When morning came, the house felt heavier than ever. The sun streamed through the curtains, but the warmth didn't touch me. It was just another reminder that the world kept moving even as mine had stopped. He finally stepped into the room, his eyes bloodshot, his hair messy. He looked nothing like the confident man I once fell in love with. Now he just looked desperate. Please, he started, his voice low, his hands trembling as he reached for me. Please, just let me explain. You can hate me, but don't leave me like this. I sat on the edge of the bed, silent. My heart was pounding,
but my voice was steady. Explain? Go ahead. I'm listening. His mouth opened and closed like he was searching for words that didn't exist. It was nothing. I swear. Just a stupid mistake, a moment of weakness. She means nothing to me. You're the only one I love. I laughed, bitter and hollow. Do you hear yourself? You call betrayal a moment of weakness? You call months of lies nothing? He shook his head violently, his voice rising with panic. It wasn't months. It wasn't what you think. Then tell me what it was. Tell me why your jacket smelled like her perfume. Tell me why I found you with her, laughing, kissing, holding her like she was your wife. Tell me why every word you've spoken for months has been a carefully crafted lie. His face twisted, guilt flashing in his eyes before he masked it with indignation. I didn't want to hurt you. I was going through so much stress, you wouldn't understand. It just happened. I stood, my body trembling with a mix of rage and sorrow. No, don't you dare minimize this. Don't you dare stand here and reduce our marriage, our love, our life to something that just happened. You chose this. Every text, every meeting, every kiss. You chose her. You chose lies. You chose to break me. He reached for me again, but I stepped back. You don't mean that, he whispered, his voice cracking. We can fix this. We've been through so much together. Don't throw it away now. Don't let her come between us. I stared at him, the man I once believed would protect me from the world, now the man who destroyed me. She didn't come between us, I said, my voice trembling but sharp as glass. You did. You destroyed us long before I walked into that office. The silence that followed was deafening. He stood frozen, his hands still outstretched, waiting for a forgiveness that would never come. And for the first time, I felt my strength rising above the pain. I looked him in the eyes, my words cutting like a blade. You lost me the moment you chose her over honesty. You don't get to ask for my forgiveness when you never gave me the truth. Tears stung my eyes, but I refused to let them fall in front of him. Not anymore. Without another word, I turned away, leaving him standing in the wreckage of the lies he built. And in that silence, I knew the man I once loved was gone. I always thought revenge had to be loud, screaming matches, shattered plates, dramatic exits. But when the time came, I realized the most powerful revenge wasn't chaos. It was silence. The night after our confrontation, I sat alone at the kitchen table, my laptop glowing in the dark. My hands shook as I opened folders, emails, text chains, every trace of his double life that I could find. Screenshots, receipts, even photos from that night at the office. Piece by piece, I built my case, not just for me, but for the truth. He thought he was clever. He thought his lies were airtight. But the thing about deception is that it always leaves crumbs, and I was ready to follow every single one. During the day, I played the role of the broken wife, quiet, withdrawn, barely speaking. He thought I was softening, that my silence meant I was considering forgiveness. But my silence was my weapon. Behind it, I was calling lawyers, setting up accounts in my own name, transferring small amounts of money until I had enough to stand on my own. Every step was calculated, deliberate. And the more I planned, the lighter I felt. For so long, I had carried the weight of his betrayal like a chain around my neck. But now, every screenshot, every file saved, even photos from that night at the office, felt like breaking another link of that chain. One evening, he walked into the room smiling like nothing had happened. "Dinner out tonight?" he asked, as if we were still the couple he pretended we were. I smiled back for the first time in weeks. "Sure." His face lit up, and for a moment I almost laughed. He thought he still had me. He thought my forgiveness was just a meal away. But in my mind, I was already gone. I was no longer his wife, I was his reckoning. The day I finally left, I didn't slam the door, I didn't even leave a note. I simply packed my bags, placed the divorce papers where he would find them, and walked out with my head high. I didn't take everything, I didn't need to, because what I left behind was far heavier. The silence of my absence, the evidence of his betrayal, the destruction of the image he had worked so hard to build. He lost more than a wife that day. He lost the one person who believed in him. And as I stepped into the sunlight, free for the first time in years, I realized my revenge wasn't about destroying him. It was about reclaiming me.